Hi buddies, Julia here, and today I thought I was going to share my quote-unquote baby book. So I have mentioned this before when I showed layout I made, and I got some comments saying they wanted to peek inside. And yeah, so in short, this is my version of my own baby book. And I mean, my mom, she took photos and she had one of those baby's first year. But I mean, she's not a documenter the way I am, and I felt like I really wanted to do this, and it's been a really fun project to work on. So in short, I just went through all our photo albums, took the photos that I wanted, I scanned them in, did some editing if I had to, and then sent them off to the printer. And I found that that was a really good way. Took some time and some work, but I like that I'm not working with the originals, so I can be a bit more free of how I work with them in the album. So the album I have here is a snap binder, and I think they're meant for the planners. When they're done with the planners, you can just pop them inside here, but I really like the stripes, so for my baby book I chose a pink one. And yeah, so the first page here, I'm sorry if there's a lot of glare. What I decided to do, I'm not sure if I will keep it, but I put my date of birth here, and then I just wrote here that this is me doing this album, this is 2017. I've actually written it wrong, but that is from my perspective right now, and I think I cannot really do it in any other way. If I wanted the perspective of me as a baby, I think it would be easier for my mom to make it, but now it is I who make it, and I did it right now. So I think having this as a introduction sort of clarifies that, and if not, it makes it easier for me when I go work on it, that it's okay to what perspective I should work from. So I'm not sure if I will keep it like this, but for now I like it. And the photos that I found in the albums, I just took the first album I noticed, and it's from July of '94, and I was half a year then, so I'm not sure where the album is with me my first half year, but I'm sure it's somewhere, I just haven't bothered to look for it. So anyway, what I decided to do here is just take the photos. Here I wrote a bit of what I've been told about this, because it was like my first vacation, I suppose. Then it's blank. Here I have some more photos. And what I did when I got the photos was I put them in these albums somewhat chronological. So when I decide I want to sit down and do a page, I just flip through, find a photo I want to work on, and then start. So here I had two photos of our dogs and a middle title card, and then wrote that obviously I was a very natural dog handler from a very young age. Pretty sure it's my dad who put them in there. Anyway, nothing here, so it's blank. I did order some enlargements, and I'm really happy I did that. So this is me and my mom, and I've decided to go in the pockets and then outside because I really like that. And the only thing you need to consider when doing that is glue. I had lots of glue. So here is the process video I have on my channel. And for example, I don't know like if there's a story behind this photo, or if it just my mom happened to bring her camera when she was going to feed the horses and put me in front. I don't know that. But what I do know is that this horse is called on Molly, and I know sort of the story behind it, and that's what I wrote down. So I don't feel bad, or I don't feel like I have to tell stories that I don't remember. I'm going to tell what I know, and if there's spots open and somebody can fill that in later, then that's fine. So yeah, here we have my first Christmas. I just made a very simple page. My first birthday, because I'm born in January, and here I had 3 photos, so I'm not sure if I will divide it up or just keep it like this. I might do something here though. Once again, here is another page with my mom, that's me, my dad and his horse. I think the dark shape here is mom's horse. And yeah, I just wrote here that when they moved in together they had their own dogs, their own cats and their own horses. And of course I had to start early with my writing, considering both of them were writers. And then here I had some photos of me and my dad in the tractor, and it might just look like they've plunked me into the tractor, but I know for a fact that they used to put me in the tractor when they wanted me to sleep, because apparently putting me in the tractor made me sleep. So I chose time for bed. Here's another large photo. Here I had a photo and I just made a quick little layout. Here I don't know the story about, this is my dad's mother and my mother, so I don't really know the story about her, so I'm just the summer time for Bath, and here's grandma and mom, and if they have something to share about this, like where we were, I can add that in or just switch out this card. Here we have a really fun, so this was my first time at Liseberg, which is a big amusement park in Sweden, in Gothenburg. So I have here a carousel horse, my little title card, sequin pocket. And what I really like about these photos is that they weren't just me, my mom and dad, it was actually my whole dad's family, so grandpa and grandma and my uncles were all there. So here I just put a photos, and then here I wrote who are in the photos. And then here's my other uncle and another uncle, I have a few. Here's just a simple photo. A little snuggly time in the sofa. Here is me with some crayons, and I just wrote that I've always loved painting. And here we blank. Another Christmas. So here I have these two photos, and that's one of the things you can do when you edit your photos, and not just take them from the original when they are film. I made these two 3x4 because I know I'm working in this format and it's much easier to work with that scale when you have these, so I just wrote a bit about that. Christmas, and here I just took all of these 3 photos that I had and made them into like a film strip. Yeah, and then it goes on here. And what I also like to do is, even though I did not take it on the same date, I sort of cluster them together. So here we have 3 photos of me in different outfits, obviously. These 2 are my mom made, and she also made this little dress. And this kimono actually my aunt took with her when she left Japan. She lived there for the first part of my life, so when she came back she brought this with her to me. And then here you can see I have some photos. Here's another example of grouping photos. So my first pony, because I was given a pony very early, like I said, both my mom and my dad had horses. So here's my first pony, and his name was Hugo Simon. So I made this little title card and then some photos. Here I wrote down like everything I just remembered about him. It's in no particular order. I don't feel like I have to tell him in a specific way. I just took out my typewriter and started typing about who he was and why I got him, and that I rode him until I was 7, and that it was very fun. I also wrote down a bit of a funny story that my dad really hated him. I don't know if this is a funny story or not, but so this little pony, he was I think 86 centimeters or something. He was tiny, and my dad hated him because he did not like my dad. And every time they were going to bring him in for the night, he would run away if it was my dad who was going to take him in. And one night, I remember, it was really dark, and he came in and he was like, told my mom, like, if you don't bring in that pony in, I'm going to go out and shoot him. So my mom, she went in, I went out and just brought him in. He was so mad. He's still mad about that. Anyway, it was really funny. So I just typed that out there. and then added the photos. He was so pretty. Anyway, so that is my album so far. It has a lot of gaps in it, but I mean, even if I was going to leave it as it is right now, I'm really happy with it because it has a lot of stories that I wouldn't otherwise have told, and I'm going to keep adding to it. Hopefully I can find my first photos from when I was like baby. But yeah, it's really fun, and it would be really fun to have like mom and dad or my uncles or something to add to the album, but I don't feel like I need to. It would be fun, but it's not a necessary requirement. I think it's just really fun to have this, and I'm not going to stress out about using a specific paper line or color scheme or anything. I'm just going to do what sort of goes with the photo and what I feel like, and that way I think it's more fun. So yeah, when I first thought about doing this, I thought it was going to be this huge project and I was never going to finish, and it's impossible to finish because how can I ever attempt doing this? But I just printed the photos, put them in somewhat chronological order, and then just started, and it's been really fun. So that's where I am right now. I'm sure I'm going to add more to it. I mean, I still have some space, a bit anyway. So yeah, I'm really happy with it, and I hope you liked looking inside. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, and I hope to see you soon.